Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Tuesday, July 10th. And I don't know what day it is in the Big Brother house. We're pushing quite a few, though. Let's say that. Things didn't go yesterday as I expected them to. I thought we'd get a little bit more out of Swaggy when he found himself the surprise nominee. So the Power Veto meeting actually happened a little bit earlier than I expected. And when it came back, it was just kind of like, okay, yeah. On the one hand, you go, all right, Swaggy's staying composed. It went down as we thought. I mean, Tyler saved Scotty, and Caitlyn put up Swaggy, but there was no big, I'm coming for you, I'm going to get it. It was just very quiet, analytical. I mean, it's kudos to Swaggy in that that probably wouldn't have gotten him anything if he'd gone, crazy and gone on the warpath. On the other hand, it made for kind of a boring, letdown. I don't know. I don't know what I want. The thing is that the more I watched the aftermath, the more I realized that Tyler's got a pretty good grip on this game at the moment. He's got Caitlyn right in his back pocket right now. He's got her doing. He is the head of household this week, and nobody else seems to be reacting to it very strongly or noticing it, or they're too busy with themselves to notice that. And too busy being happy that they're not at Caitlyn's target, that they're just kind of like letting it happen. Some have kind of noticed it. And it's very similar. It reminds me very similar of other seasons when the person who seems to have a lot of the power figures out who's on to him or her and then kind of focuses their attention on that person. And the person I'm thinking of right now is actually Rockstar, in that she seems to not be buying everything that Tyler's selling, and Tyler is passing it on to others like, she doesn't like me, she doesn't want me around, which is kind of true, and kind of like, so I wouldn't be surprised if she is his next target. And if Swaggy does indeed go, I could see Tyler working it into an angle of, we can't get rid of all the guys, we need to go after a girl now. And let's make that girl Rockstar because, hey, Bailey doesn't have anyone now. And I could just see the angle. But, there will be lots of footage for CBS to use. Caitlyn even said, after Swaggy had this long talk where Swaggy just talks way too much. I would be exactly like Swaggy in the house. Swaggy just on and on and on and on. I get it. It's a sense of desperation. Like, if I stop talking, this is the end of the discussion and there's no hope for me. So I'm just going to keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. And yet, it's done. He's not, well, Caitlyn said, he brought up his father passing away. Swaggy brought up, growing up in having a difficult childhood. He brought up all these points to get sympathy, and Caitlyn, says she's a very sympathetic person, and so, him saying that when he got done, she's like, I wouldn't have broken the tie when you came in to vote for you, but now after we've talked, if it's a tie, I would break it and vote, to keep you. But 2 minutes after she walked out the door, because Tyler was in the room for this whole conversation, 2 minutes after she walked out the door, Tyler had her talked right back off that idea and said, can't do it. It's a game. We got to do this. And she's like, you're right. What would I do without you, kind of a thing. I was like, yeah, that's exactly why Tyler is hanging around. Now, I don't know if it was a sense of confidence that Tyler has in the situation, or just a bit of, I don't know. But Fessy finally came up to talk to her too, because he wasn't going to talk to her. And Tyler left them alone. Tyler actually left Fessy alone with Caitlyn, and they talked for quite a while. And you know what? Tyler was smart to do it because Fessy has absolutely no game in that way, and that he's not even. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to express myself. So, Caitlyn is very much about the guilt trip. Caitlyn raked Fessy over the coals when she got a tidbit of information last week when Swaggy was kind of like, I had a deal with Fessy, da-da-da, and Caitlyn's like, why didn't you ever tell me? I can't believe you didn't tell me that. I don't understand this. Why wouldn't you tell me? Blah, blah, blah. The whole you're breaking our trust and what I thought we were each other's number ones, okay? Now, fast forward to Caitlyn last night, who told Fessy that she found out that Tyler came to her and said, Sam has a power, and that's why you have to vote out Steve. And she told him this. And Fessy didn't say, what do you mean? You found out that he had a power and you didn't share it with me. I thought we were each other's number ones. How could you not trust me? How could you not believe in me? Oh my gosh, this is, blah, 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 blah. And he didn't say any of that. He was just so blown away the fact that Sam had a power. So, yeah. That's how Fessy isn't playing any kind of a manipulation game. And that's pretty much what Caitlyn does constantly, is try to manipulate people. So, yeah, Fessy's got no real game. Fessy's... And so, yeah, it's not happening. Swaggy is not... I'm going to tell you this right now. At some point, there is going to be this glimmer of hope. I really thought Winston might start to freak out. And it is only Tuesday this morning. So it's very possible that Winston could start having moments of doubt. But I'm not seeing the rest of the house even seem to entertain the idea of keeping Swaggy or be willing to. And until I see a little bit of that, then I'm not going to think that that's Swaggy has even a chance to stay. So, Swaggy's got a very deep hole to dig himself out of. He may or may not do that. Tyler's seems to have a pretty good control over a lot of the people in the house, and no one has caught on to his game. And it's going to get him... It could get him all the way to the end very easily. It could come down to a luck of the draw thing, but he definitely still doesn't have someone who he's singled out as, I'm going to put my faith and trust in you. And if I were him, I don't think I could play the game the way the way that Tyler's playing it. He's doing a good job. Whether he's doing it intentionally or not, I don't know, but he really is doing a good job. And if I had to say, I would guess that he is trying to figure out, okay, who can I trust enough to share some of my secrets with, like my power, and yet who can I still beat in the end? And I think that's what I would be doing if I was him, trying to weigh out, because he needs to at some point let someone in that he can work with, even though he did say to Caitlyn last night that this isn't a team game, this is a one-person game, which I think was very telling, because I think that's his mindset. This is a one-person game, this isn't a team game, even though he's, trying to get Caitlyn to think that he's, working with her. So, that's what's going on there. I don't know what's going to happen today. There's nothing on the schedule now until Thursday's show. So, they did end Rachel's yelling thing. It should have ended about the time of the nomination. So, I believe they did, actually. You know what? The feeds did cut a couple times last night. So I can't say with 100% certainty. But I'm fairly certain that her yelling thing ended. I thought they said it was going to be for 24 hours. And that would have ended right about the time where she did where they did the nomination ceremony. So, you've got... What else do we've got? We've got the Caitlyn relationship with Tyler. I don't know if I think I talked about this a little bit yesterday, so I don't want to dig into it too deeply again, just because if you guys already heard it, then there's no point in going over it again. But, Caitlin, I tell you what, the camera last night was panning between, so Tyler and Caitlin are in the head of household bedroom together, and several times the camera panned over to the picture of Caitlin and her boyfriend and back to Tyler and Caitlin. So whether that is just for the benefit of the live feed viewers and the people that are on Pop TV, on Big Brother After Dark, or if that is going to be used in any footage on the TV show, I don't know. But I honestly do think that Caitlin, that Caitlin is not trying to get Tyler. I think I talked about this yesterday. I don't need to. She drew on his arm. I want to kiss you, and I would drop everything for you. And you say, how do you know that? Well, somebody actually captured. Made a GIF of her spelling it out, and you could actually, and they subtitled it for us, and you could see her doing it. And yeah, she said, "I want to kiss you" or something like that. And this was a couple, night before last. I think she's doing it because she thinks that that's the way to keep Tyler close. And I don't think Tyler has any interest in Caitlin in that way. I think Tyler's just like, all right, I just gotta, I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to look at her and we're going to talk, and I'll touch her and caress her a little bit, reach out and do a little rubbing of the shoulder and whatever it takes to keep her from, going wacko and getting mad at me and not doing what I want her to do. Although she has no power at this point. Well, she does have the tiebreaker power. I shouldn't say that. She does have the tiebreaker power this week. Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, what's funny is like Angela. She's like nowhere to be seen. She isn't on the feeds hardly at all. You cannot find her. It's like, oh, there she is walking in the background. I don't know. And I don't know if that means that she's going to suddenly pop up halfway through the season and, be a force, or if she's going to be just the person that's voted out one week to go like, oh, who cares? She hasn't been around the whole time anyways. I'm not sure which it's going to be. What else do I got? What else do I got to talk about? I don't know if I have a whole lot else to talk about, because I sat and I watched the feeds for several hours last night. The problem is that for several hours it was a lot of Swaggy talking to people and just looping and looping and looping. Caitlin talking to people and looping and looping and looping. I mean, the Caitlin Fessy conversation was excruciating. She would talk to him and say, "You're embarrassing me." I don't even know what the hell it meant. It would just be her throwaway line that she would say. It sounded like when I said this, it sounded like a 14-year-old talking to a guy. And, oh my gosh, it was such baby talk, tell me this, what, why? I was surprised when she did tell Fessy that Sam had the power. And I think she actually told, Swaggy that Sam had a power, but then I read later that Swaggy didn't believe that Sam had the power, so I don't know. Yeah, and there was a conversation between Swaggy and Sam, but I think it was just Swaggy, patting him on the head as he walked towards the gallows. I don't think it was, if it was jury time, I'd say that Sam was just working on jury votes, but it isn't jury time, so I think it was just Sam making conversation and being nice. I don't think that Sam is going to vote to keep Swaggy. She did point out to Swaggy, she said, "You came in all game, and I came in all social. And coming in all game was not the right move." And I agree. It seems like Swaggy's just so intense when he came in. Now, Josh was extremely intense last year when he came in, but Josh was also a bit, I don't know, over the top. I'm not sure, but yeah. I don't. Swaggy's. I wanted Swaggy to do something and to stay around a little bit longer, but I just don't see it happening. So I'm anticipating Swaggy's going to get voted out on Thursday. And then we have to see who gets the next head of household. But right now, man, Tyler has got a lock on this game. Tyler is just he's got a lock. It just seems. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who's going to step up and go against him. I'd have to say Angie is the biggest force against him, which to me means that she's going to be the next one out the door if Tyler has any control over it. I don't think Brett and Winston are doing anything. I don't think Angie and Rachel are doing anything. Angie and Rachel, or at least Rachel, has more of a problem with her own allies in Brett and Winston. So she's they've talked down to her, Rachel and her a few times, kind of a thing, and they were like, that really kind of. I remember Rachel saying that really annoys me. I really don't like that, and so that's not good for an alliance. Yeah, I don't. Tyler is managing still to play both sides, and until someone catches on to it a little bit more and Tyler doesn't catch on that they've caught on to it, because it's gonna happen if you can pick them off one at a time. Then, and if you can manage to sway the group to think that this is the reason we need to get rid of this person, it could be another season of one person running the show. And I don't think people want that, but man, it's looking that way right now. All right, I'm done. I want to wish you guys all a wonderful Tuesday. I'm assuming you've all checked out our podcast by now, those of you that are going to. You know what? We're still a couple weeks in. The plugs at the end here, because I'm guessing some of you may have just stumbled across this. If you've just stumbled across this little Mike talking to himself while he drives to work, then welcome to my little, what we call, car cast. And as I said, I drive while I do this. So welcome to my car cast. I hope you've enjoyed it. I do this almost every day of the week. I've been doing it Monday through Friday, weekends occasionally, and every once in a while I'll do a pop-up one in the middle of the day, very short one. And up until this year, up until about a week ago, I was only keeping them on Spreaker, Spreaker. But starting last week, I got it up on iTunes and TuneIn. Oh, iHeartRadio. This is going to be on iHeartRadio starting sometime in the next couple of days. I'm supposed to check for it. Got that email that it had been approved for iHeartRadio. I have no idea if anyone will listen to it on iHeartRadio, but hey, you never know. I'm just trying to get it out there in as many places as possible, and to remind people that besides doing this little one-person Big Brother CarCast, we also do our weekly podcast, and it got up to number 12 yesterday. I don't know if it got any higher. I know it's gone down since then. So that's very cool that it got up to number 12 in TV and film on iTunes. And I know one person said everybody should listen to it and share this. I listened to it on Stitcher. That's okay. Listen to it on Stitcher as well. Whatever way it lets you listen to it, just share it with your friends and tell them about it. Say, hey, there's this podcast that I listen to. You should check it out. And get more people to listen to it. We are not your family-friendly or your kid-friendly podcast. It's an adult podcast for sure. And it is not a lovey-feely. We're not going to get the endorsement from CBS. You know, there's a podcast out there that's been around not as long as our podcast for Big Brother, but it's a very mainstream, run by a reality contestant, a former contestant who this is his life, this is all he does is do podcasts, and he does a very good professional job, by the way. Not a knock on it, but is definitely much more of a family-friendly, you know, podcast, and whereas ours tends to be a little bit more, we see the bad words and we don't mince our words, and we yell it at CBS and we get frustrated, and because we don't particularly care if they don't, you know, like us, I guess. I mean, we're just critical. We don't pull any punches. So you should check it out. Most of you already have, and I'm sorry for still rambling. But that's what's going on. Check those out. And if you happen to have found this through iTunes and you have no idea who I am, my name is Mike, and you can follow me on Twitter at BBGOSSIP. All right? There. All the plugs are done. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.